Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top story, another fatal attack occurred over this weekend as a Palestinian terrorist stabbed to death a British tourist in Jerusalem. Palestinians demonstrated across the Palestinian territories in both the West Bank and Gaza Strip in support of a hunger strike by hundreds of incarcerated Palestinians in Israeli jails who demand better conditions. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan wins a referendum vote, providing him with new sweeping executive powers. The Easter holiday did not pass without incidents as a Palestinian man stabbed a British tourist near Jerusalem's Old City before being arrested by Israeli security forces stationed at the scene.
Police units in Jerusalem responded to a terrorist knife attack that took place on the light railway in the center of Jerusalem. As a result, a 23-year-old tourist was stabbed critically when she was stabbed in the upper part of the body. Police units rushed to the scene and arrested a 57-year-old terrorist from the Israeli Arab Ras Al Amud area, neighborhood of Jerusalem. The suspect was apprehended as being questioned. The female 23-year-old was taken to hospital with critical injuries after being stabbed in the upper part of her body, and unfortunately she passed away from her wounds a short while ago. The Israeli police have heightened security in Jerusalem in order to prevent any further terrorist attacks.
Israel's domestic security service, the Shin Bet, identified the terrorist as 57-year-old Jamil Tamimi and said he was a Palestinian from East Jerusalem with mental health problems who was convicted in 2011 for sexually assaulting his daughter. The victim of the attack, who was identified as a 23-year-old British national who resided in Israel as part of her semester-long foreign exchange studies at Jerusalem's Hebrew University, succumbed to her wounds after the terrorist managed to stab her numerous times.
We arrived to a young woman who was riding in the light train near the Tzal Square. When we arrived, she was in critical condition with knife wounds all over her body. We started CPR on scene and then we evacuated her in critical condition to the Har HaTzofim hospital.
Now in other news, Palestinians demonstrated across the West Bank and Gaza Strip in support of a hunger strike by hundreds of incarcerated Palestinians in Israeli jails. The Palestinian prisoners have several demands with true primary objectives. The first directed at Israel, where they demand public telephones installed in their wards, as is the case in criminal prisons, while the second demand is directed at the Red Cross, requesting the international body to increase the number of family visits from once to twice a month, after the Red Cross some 9 months ago lowered the number of family visits due to some monetary issues. Israel said the hunger strike by the prisoners, many of whom are convicted terrorists, was politically motivated by prominent prisoner Marwan Barghouti, who, even though is serving 5 life terms after being convicted of murder in the killing of Israelis in several terror attacks between the years 2000 and 2005, is widely seen as a possible future Palestinian president and is using the strike to increase his support among his people. In response to Barghouti's call for the hunger strike, hundreds of Palestinians rallied in show of support for the prisoners. In the West Bank city of Bethlehem, the protests quickly turned violent when the demonstrators hurled rocks at Israeli border police forces, who responded with crowd dispersal means. No injuries were reported. Now to Turkey, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan won a referendum vote which gave him new sweeping executive powers. The referendum abolished the post of prime minister and provides concentrated powers in the hands of the president, which will take effect on November of 2019. The results, which the opposition said it would challenge, showed a narrow victory with 51.4% of the votes cast in favor of the historic move. The changes could keep Erdogan, who has the Islamist AKP faction, in power until 2029 or beyond, and effectively makes him the most important figure in Turkish history, since state founder Kemal Atatürk built a modern nation from the ashes of the Ottoman Empire after World War I. Thousands of supporters welcomed Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to the capital Ankara, where he declared a victory against what he defined was the Crusaders' ideology in the West and their servants in Turkey, in a country which he aims to bolster as an Islamic nation-state.
Çok daha gayretli, çok daha hızlı olarak 2019 Kasım'ına yürüyeceğiz. Ama şunu söyleyeyim, yapacağımız çok iş var. Bunun hepimiz de herhalde farkındayız. Zira 7 düvele karşı verilen bir mücadele oldu. Batı'da Haçlı zihniyeti bize saldırdı. İçeride de uşakları saldırdı. Fakat yılmadık, usanmadık, milletçe dimdik durduk.
In response to the referendum, hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Istanbul to denounce the vote, condemning the results as rigged.
Birçok usulsüzlük, birçok hukuki olmayan durum olduğunu düşünüyoruz. Birçok haber geldi seçim günü de. Oyumuza sahip çıktık o gün ve evet'i kabul etmiyoruz. Çünkü hayır çıktı. Böyle düşünüyoruz.
Kesintiye uğramasını istemiyorum. Meclisin bizim seçtiğimiz %100'lük meclisi olmasını istiyorum. Tek adam rejimine, diktatörlere karşıyım.
Turkish analysts told TV7 that the result of the referendum set bare to the deep divide between the urban middle classes in the country, who see their future as part of a European mainstream, and the pious rural poor, who favor Erdogan's strong Islamic hand. Now, with regard to the Syria conflict, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met over the weekend with his Iranian counterpart Mohammad Javad Zarif to discuss the situation in the war-torn country. The meeting in Moscow aimed at representing an aligned position between Russia and Iran with regard to the American strike on the Syrian military, a move condemned by both countries as illegal. During their meeting, the Iranian foreign minister declared the American attack, which Washington said came in response to a chemical attack blamed on the Assad regime, as a very dangerous activity that must be prevented in the future. Both Moscow and Tehran believe the alleged use of chemical weapons was used as a pretext for the United States to attack the Syrian Air Force base, from where Washington claimed Assad's warplanes emanated. Since then, Russia, Iran, and the Syrian government provided a united demand, urging the United Nations to launch an investigation that would prove the chemical weapons originated from a rebel's weapons cache. That position is vehemently rejected by the United States, however, which announced it has proof that the Syrian regime was behind the attack, a reality American officials told TV7 gave President Donald Trump the right to enforce a red line declared by Washington in the past on several occasions. Thank you for watching us. You can also watch us at TV7IsraelNews.com or TV7.fi. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@tv7.fi. For more updates from Israel and the region, please join our Facebook page at TV7 Israel News. Praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. Jonathan Hassan, have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
In order to donate to TV7 Israel News, please follow these simple steps. First, press the Donate logo, located at the bottom left side of TV7 Israel News Facebook page, or on the Donate tab at the head of the page. Then insert the amount you'd like to donate, and fill in your credit card information. Just like this. And press Review Donation and continue. After reviewing your donation details, please press Donate to finalize your donation. That's it! Your donation is now complete, and an email with your donation details has been sent to your email address. You can also print your donation receipt by pressing the link here. Thank you for supporting TV7 Israel News.